So I'm going to start recording.
Right.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the BaZi Gratitude Series number 4. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We have so many more goodies that we're going to be sharing, rolling out in the future. But if you've been tuning in with us for some time, welcome back. I was telling Karin that I'm a little tired. We're doing this at 6 p.m. Arizona time, and I've been teaching an online class all day. However, I've been so excited for tonight's webinar because we have a super special guest on tonight who's going to be talking with us a little bit about meditation and is also going to guide us on a guided meditation specifically on gratitude. And I thought, hey, what a great way to break up our work week, where whatever it is that's going on in your world, wherever, what are you doing? Are you cramped with children or husband or anything like that? To decompress from the week and sort of revitalize and refresh and reset for the rest of the week. So, hi, Karin.
Hello.
How are you? It's so nice to see your beautiful face. Before we dive into all the meaty, awesome stuff, can you just share a little bit about yourself and maybe tell our viewers what got you interested in meditation and how that whole journey started for you?
Of course I can. I have been in the fitness industry for 40 years, so I came at my life from a very physical standpoint, and I did club ownership in the suburbs of Chicago. I owned a boutique. I was part owner of a boutique. So I did all of the physical things to create a career in the fitness industry, and I moved here about 20 years ago and continued on with a lot of that, but started to work with homes and energy alignment within the homes, how I could make people's lives better by improving the energy in their home. So I worked with that for a while, got back into fitness, and then I made the transition to yoga about 12 years ago. And from there, realized that I had issues with meditation. And I knew that in my yoga training right away. That was 12 years ago. And I went, okay, this is the physical part, I've got that. But slowly and surely, I worked at the meditation little by little until I've come to the point where I do it now 2 times a day.
So for those that may be new to meditation, you know, I remember I took up meditation 10 years ago, and I'm a very busybody. I'm more busybody in the mind than I am physical. That's why I always say, when I grow up, I want to be like Karin.
I don't know.
Because I look at you and Mick, and you guys are like so fit and healthy and vibrant. And I'm like, I just want to sit here for a while. You know, meditation has some of its common misconceptions that people just think you just sit there with an empty mind. But in your experience, how would you easily explain it to people who may not be familiar with it? And how does it really resonate with you on a day-to-day basis?
On a day-to-day basis, the best thing it's about observing where you are and knowing that thoughts will always be there. And I think of all the thoughts that enter my mind during meditation as noble thoughts rather than distracting thoughts. So immediately it takes away the negativity. So it's about just being where you are, not judging what rises up, because everything rises up. We're giving it a platform to do so. And that is the beauty of meditation, is we're opening the gates to allow whatever it is that needs to come through, to rise up inside of us. It's up to us what we do with it, whether we're ready to navigate or look at something, a thought more seriously, maybe especially one that rises up over and over again. Maybe it needs a little more thought, more pondering. The word meditation means to ponder, to think, to question. So I think of it as a time where my physical realm meets the realm of thought. And I welcome it in.
Oh my gosh, Karin, that was such a great explanation. Thank you. I'm like, I want to paraphrase.
Well, thanks.
That was really beautiful. You know, for those that are interested or thinking about embarking on a meditation, not necessarily study, but just a practice that they can do at home, what are some simple tips that you would recommend with them? Is it about setting up the space, finding the time? Is it having that ritual or the symbols that they can bring to it? You know, what are your thoughts around setting up a ritual or a practice for that?
Okay, good question, because you know, I've had many starts in my life to meditation, but I think I have chosen one place in my home and it seems to work for me. And if I try another location in my home, sometimes it works pretty well, other times not as much. But if something is on my mind today, sometimes I'll light a candle and ask for an ancestor to help ground me that day, or a mentor in my life, or I may even put a petition out for an intention and see what kind of accumulates with me before I sit down. Sometimes the candle helps, sometimes a little incense will help, anything that sets the stage so that that ritual becomes an intention. Sometimes people even just strike a bell and it sets off something after you repeat that over and over again. Another thing, and they call it meditation. Some people, you know, first thing in the morning, they sit up in bed and do their meditation right away. And that seems to be very helpful for a lot of people. But the best thing I find about that is it gives me a little chance to recapitulate my dreams because they're fresh in my memory. And a lot of times if there's a message there that I want to dive into, that's the time I stay in my bed and sit up 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes and just be still and quiet and see if I can marinate on that dream a little bit and see what rises up with that. Because, you know, our dream state is very important. So we don't want to miss the opportunities of messages coming through.
Yeah.
So I do recommend that if you've had a night full of dreams, just sit up, go right to it.
I love that. Meditation.
Yes.
I guess it can also be meditation when you go to bed.
You can, but something that I think is to be remembered is that meditation is activating. So I know that a lot of people love to do the apps because they think it's going to calm them down and put them to sleep. And that works. But many times that's through guided meditation. It's kind of like storytelling or sounds, and they find something relaxing, and it's marvelous. It's marvelous. But if you want to dive into discovering yourself, discovering who you really are, then that requires quiet time during the day when we are at our alert moments so that we can grasp what's coming in.
Those are some amazing tips. I find that I really do enjoy for myself in the morning, really early in the mornings when the birds are chirping and everybody else is kind of sleeping or sleepy, and I have that stillness where there is something to be said about silence, right? I think we're so used to the stimulus, the stimulation all around us, whether that's music or somebody else's voice, that you're absolutely right, that if you have something that you're looking for in terms of answers or the probing, the answer lies within you. So you need to be able to hear your own thoughts, to be with your own thoughts.
You couldn't have said that better. That's wonderful. That's exactly right. And sometimes early morning is that magic time.
It is. I love it. So Karin, we connected because you came in for BaZi, and then Nick also has come in for BaZi, and it has been so much fun to be part of your journey in that way, and also to watch you, to witness you, to be a part of your life in that regard. And I thought, you know, we always talk about BaZi in terms of the energy of the year. And the last time you came in, we were chit-chatting about what is 2020, and you and Nick were there during the Chinese New Year talk, where we're forecasting what's going on. And the metal and water year is significantly much more memorable in a sense that it is related to the lungs and to the kidneys when we think of Chinese medicine. And the lungs holds our emotion related to grief. And you and I were chatting about that. And the water element holds the energy for fear and for anxiety. And so we were joking earlier that I was telling you, I'm just going to fake it till I make it. If I have my bad days, I just have to fake it that I'm grateful, 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 right? And so, you know, tonight, at the end of the night now, whether we're getting ready for dinner, for a walk or whatever, I would like for you to do a mini live guided meditation for gratitude to sort of set the intention for all of us, since we're all in this together at this moment. So I would love to receive your magic. I'm ready.
Do that. Fantastic, fantastic. So as you would, I will lead this meditation. And I would like to just prompt it by telling you I will be using a rose. And a rose is a very, it's an important image for me because it has a connection to my mother. And I've seen it on the internet a few times where we say rose, thorn, bloom. And so the rose itself will lend itself to gratitude. The thorn will be the challenge that we happen to be having in our day or in our week. And then the bloom is the promise. What's blooming, what's to come. So I wanted to prompt that. So when we get to that part in the meditation, you're kind of aware and ready to go with that. So let's begin by closing our eyes. And the most important thing to do when we come to meditation is to analyze our breathing, allow the breath to inform us. How do we feel today based on what the breath, you know, how it's resonating in our body? What is the information that the breath is giving us? Is it deep? Is it shallow? Is the timing of it seem significant enough for where you want to be? Do you need to deepen it? Do you need to savor it? Perhaps you need to hesitate a bit at the end of the inhale or the exhale. The breath is there, it's the one true thing, and we can play with it a bit. We take the deep dive with the breath. So as we begin and we come into concert with the breath, and we try and get that sense of ease within us, and we settle into the body, the home of the body. We've been all surrounded by our home space within the last several weeks. And at this time, we fill the space of our being, our physical body. Can we become at one and at peace within the home of our body? We allow the breath to circulate, to find places in the body that might feel stuck. Is there places within that home body that feel like it could be enlivened with the breath? And sometimes I think of the breath like a searchlight. As it beams out across the water or the landscape, that's what we're used to. And it looks for places that need to be illuminated. We do that now within. We take the breath and we use it as a searchlight of discovery. What do we need to know? What is there waiting for us? What's always been there? What's new? Is there some space that seems scattered that the breath can bring together? And when you hone in on those spaces, those nooks or crannies that need to have illumination, we sink the breath down into those places. And then the breath becomes whole. We feel the breath, even right now at the very tip of the nose. And then we find the larger aspects of the breath deep within the body. On a cellular level, we invite the breath to welcome in peace. We soften down into our being, into the knowing of who we are. We bring to mind the image of a rose. Allow it to be whatever color that comes to mind. Your own rose. Think of the petals and perhaps what it symbolizes to you. With the image of the rose in mind, think of something that you are grateful for. Move beyond just the idea. Embrace the feeling of what you are grateful for. Feel it as if it's present for the first time, but also forever. Commit to the feeling of gratitude. Allow it to infuse every space around you, what holds you. Allow a deep breath to carry that feeling of gratitude like a wave. And let it melt into the idea of a thorn on that beautiful rose. And consider something in your life right now that might be a bit challenging. Just spend this small amount of time clarifying it in your mind. Is there a message behind the complication? Is there something that needs to be known? Take a deep breath in. And notice that beside the full blooming rose is the bud of a new rose. And expand your mind into the possibility of what's to come. The promise of what is there. Allow your mind to expand into that promise. Breathe deep and visualize that promise, that bud blooming. Whatever the concept is that you've brought to mind, visualize it completely. Use your senses to bring it to life in your mind. Consider the synchronicities, the signs, the guides within your life that might help you to create success around the blooming rose, around what it is you desire. The promise. And gently guide yourself then back into the space of breathing and just being good company for yourself. Knowing that this is the point at which you interact with only you. We'll take 3 more deep breaths and allow that last one to be as full of a breath as you can possibly manifest. And that will guide us to gently open the eyes.
Wow, that was amazing.
Well, thank you for letting me guide you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Karin, that was really, really beautiful. I've never heard of that that analogy myself, but I feel as if I could use the rose as a way to really anchor different thoughts and different experiences. And so I'm incredibly grateful for you, Karin.
I am grateful for you as well, and all your knowledge and wisdom that you have given me over the years. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope that Karin was able to leave a piece of comfort, inspiration that you may find in developing your own spiritual or meditative practice. I wish you all good health. Thank you so much again, Karin, for being my special guest. I can't wait to have you on again, maybe for a different theme.
Good for you.
Yes. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I wish you all happy night. And please stay tuned next week for a different webinar series. And if you have any questions, let us know. Karin's on my Facebook. And so if you do have questions, I guess I'll just have to give you her information. But
absolutely, feel free.
Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.